But one,
We knew what you meant.
call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa, here. Commissioner Livermore,
Here.
Commissioner Nettleton,
Here.
Commissioner Rondo,
Here,
Commissioner Seaver.
Bishop. Do us, Mike.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brief public comment. You're the only public, so jump up. Brief public comment. Last and final time, brief public comment. Agenda,
Good to me.
Oh,
Consensus.
yeah.
See, I stopped myself this time. I remembered which meeting we were at.
consensus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody got a copy of the minutes? Review? Okay, Robin Riley,
That's me.
jump up.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Riley. I'm a registered nurse with Senior Life Solutions. Brand new service being offered by Munising Memorial Hospital. It's a PMC company, which is psychiatric medical care, and they have over 146 programs throughout the United States. There's 6 programs in Michigan now. There's 2 in the Upper Peninsula, us and in Lawrence. So it's kind of groundbreaking and very good addition to the community to offer this service. And what it is for 65 and older, typically 65 and older, adults who are going through transitions in their life. We try to empower them. We try to give them coping skills for whatever they may be going through. It could be a loss of a loved one. It could be moving from their home into an apartment. It could be a chronic health condition. Maybe they were just diagnosed with cancer, or maybe they have COPD and it's causing more anxiety in them because they can't breathe as much anymore. And it takes tools, you know, if they don't have a support system, or even if they do, sometimes the support system isn't exactly supportive for them, right? So what we do is we have myself and RN, and so we do a medical review on them. We do med management on them, and we work with their primary care physician and do updates. And then we have a therapist, Jen Bublitz is her name. And we have OPC, an office patient coordinator, who's also a CNA, Rachel MacArthur. So there's 3 of us in the office, and our doctor is Dr. Mayland, and he's out of Lansing. So he does telehealth mostly. He's going to be here in February, I think on the 21st, and come to our little spot in the hospital, which is the east entrance area where they do the clinics and stuff. But we're actually on the opposite side where that little awning is over there. That's our entrance into the hospital. So we're working with Ultran for transportation for people. We are hopefully going to have a vehicle of our own at some point, and that way we can pick people up and drop people off. We do group therapy, individual therapy, family therapy. And it's an intensive outpatient is what it is. It's not meant to be long-term. They make their goals. It could be 12 weeks, it could be 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. It just depends on the person and how much they need. So it's not the same for any individual. They meet with their peers, you know, so that kind of keeping in that 65 and up age group keeps them with people that are going through the same things that they are going through. It's a voluntary program, and it doesn't need a doctor's order. Anybody can refer. So as I'm going around and talking to people, I'm reminding how much all of us are senior advocates. you know, looking out for our neighbors, looking out for each other. So if anyone feels that there is somebody that could benefit from this, they're sad, they're lonely, they're isolated, they're not coping well. Caregivers of people, we could take some dementia patients in the early onset of it, as long as they're cognitively able to be with the group and interact with the group, because it's proven that that can help with their cognitive abilities also. But instead of staying home all the time, they're getting out, they're doing things. We give them lunch. We have coffee there for them when they get there in the morning, and it's a 9:30, sorry. 9:30 to 12:30, our groups are, and they're on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The individual groups and family groups and all of that stuff are in between and after that. But this is pretty much what the program kind of entails. And so anybody could refer. You just have to call the number, and I did leave some more pamphlets here and my cards. But it is definitely an empowering place, and we have people in already, and they are thriving. Just a few not sleeping well at night. Now they're getting more sleep. They just need more tools in their toolbox to help them cope and know what to do. Because a lot of times when you have so much anxiety and stuff, you just can't see, what the forest through the trees. You can't see what's right in front of you. So it's to help. You guys have questions?
So you said it's strictly referral or voluntary? I mean,
It's a voluntary admission into the program. We're outpatient, so it's not like if the doctor does prescribe it, that they have to stay in this program. It's up to them. So, we do intakes. I'll go to their home also and do an intake with them. They don't even have to come into the office to do it. We also offer teletherapy. So if somebody that can't actually come in, they could do group from their home too. We like them to come in because they benefit more from that group setting with each other, but it's voluntary. That's what I mean by that.
sure. Anything with insurances?
Yes, so Medicare pays 80%, Medicare A and B. And if they had a Medicaid, that would pay the other 20%, or another insurance. Usually picks up the rest, but right off the bat, we'll look that up for them, so they'll know right away if there would be any out of pocket, because our goal is to have zero out of pocket for them.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure, thank you.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you work with other agencies like Commission on Aging, LMAS,
Yes,
and Pathways?
yes. Yep, I've been to all of those places and
Okay.
talked with all of them. If somebody does come to us and they don't have insurance that's gonna cover this and they wouldn't be able to afford going, we give them a resource list. So I still go see them, I still call them, I would still even do check-ins. But I give them a resource list to individual therapies. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 pages we have now of, just even the community truck that comes with food and stuff. Some people don't even know that's available. It might be, like I said, individual therapies or veterans affairs. We are farther than 30 miles from the next veterans facility that could supply this type of care. So they endorse us doing this. So,
So veterans can go there
Yes,
for that too.
yeah.
That's,
That was literally the note I was writing.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
well.
Becky, you talked
that's
about
a
some of
big
the other
deal.
things they may wanna try and do, and
yeah,
I was just writing a note about
yeah.
copay on that.
Yeah.
To talk to her about.
One of the things I've kind of had a block on is Alzheimer's groups and Alzheimer's support and stuff like that. I've been trying to reach out and find out, and I just can't find anything in the area right now. I'm gonna keep trying, and I'm gonna see what there is, and if there isn't, maybe that's a area we can kind of help with too. Yeah. Okay.
I'll say, I already got somebody for you. I'll be sending your way.
Okay.
That definitely, and
Yeah, I left my cards here too,
I
so,
think this is a great program to have. I know personally, but I know there are plenty of people over 65 who are taking care of a loved one and they're really sick and they're just stuck at home all the time, or they still are working to try to pay all the bills that their significant other can't do anymore, and
Mhm.
so it's nice to have that extra in town. So appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
But you have
Yeah.
to reach the age 65. If you
If
had a veteran that was.
they're on disability and they would qualify for Medicare, then they could be in the program also.
Okay,
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Okay.
Next up, materials management, and, Dean's got a letter here, you scroll down. Letter to Cupid.
Looks good to me.
Consensus?
Yep. Nice and simple, just like I said. Just gotta say that we're gonna do it.
Yeah, just a quick letter of intent.
Next, we got a bill for, the building codes, pickup needs repairs in the amount of $1,729 to Skip's Auto. And that's probably coming from the building codes, right?
Correct.
You got consensus on that?
So,
Yep.
Good. Backup server to replace Integris server, what's that all about?
this is
What
the
about-
one after, we have all these committee meetings, and I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't put the email in here, but long story short, the backup server that we have in our server room is owned by Integris. They want it back.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
So we need to now buy one or, okay,
what is that gonna cost?
or we have to find out.
42. Down the bottom of the
Oh,
$4,235.45.
That's it, I order. Didn't get it too late, came after the fact. It was after I made the payment, but I got it on and
yeah, it's right here.
It's an email packet.
Yeah.
printed out for myself.
4,000.
You tell me.
It is $4,235.45.
It's still on that side too, though, I think, yeah. Is that an invoice or an estimate?
Estimate number
Estimate.
2748.
Yeah.
So,
I'll see if, yeah, there's any other.
once I take the sales tax off there.
And where is that money coming from?
Well, as long as it's used for the general ledger and all the receipting for the taxes and all that stuff, which it will be, that's an allowable expense from the foreclosure fund.
Okay.
So I think we can get the server from the foreclosure fund.
You don't need to pull it out of something else.
Right, I bought a server some years ago, already one. But,
So this one will be ours then. We won't ever have to worry about,
right.
Oh, well, then that makes a difference.
yeah, we're not renting, we're buying, no lease.
Is there consensus on that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Is that a true figure then, or?
I'm gonna
That's
Just an estimate.
check with them for the next meeting.
Okay,
The actual amount.
so we won't put that on the consent agenda.
You can say up to that amount. If it's more, then we'll have to vote on it anyway. You
Or
don't,
consent that we need a new one? We
Yeah,
need to
don't-
buy one?
we don't need to have consensus on it. Find the actress and then vote on it.
Right, cause then like, who said it first, we don't pay sales tax, so
I'm just bringing it to your attention because it came in right.
there's our cost,
After we had it.
there's our cost savings. For the month.
We ain't there
We're not
yet.
gonna- we're not gonna-
920.
When do they need to, when are they pulling their backup one, you know?
After our new one's set up,
Also, they're gonna,
I'm sure, yeah, the sooner we can get this, then. They wait to have this new one installed, set up.
Yeah.
Proven.
Before we send the other one back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Get it for
but that, you
Monday.
want that on a consent agenda?
No, I'll make it
No.
an agenda item.
Okay,
Probably just be easier to.
okay. Are we ready for 11? Discuss authorizing Colonial Life for supplemental employee benefits.
So we currently have Aflac for things like short-term disability and cancer coverage, accidental. Aflac has become very difficult to work with.
Really?
Their reps are very unresponsive at best. And this rep did reach out to Sherry and compare some rates, and they're cheaper. And just with the problems that we've had with Aflac, I would prefer to switch altogether, but at the very least offer an alternative.
Cause this is all stuff, like
Voluntary.
Aflac is all voluntary, it's just all extra on the employee,
Yeah.
so no cost to the county.
When he did a rate comparison between a couple, it was significant. Aflac's like twice as.
So are we gonna authorize that?
Well, he's gonna come in and meet with everybody, so if you can authorize just to have, to allow us to implement it. And then next month, I might just come in and after I compare things and have time to look at it, I might just ask if we can just
Just,
86 to Aflac. They can convert to individual policies or transfer to this new one.
Gotta find all that out.
so we just wanna discuss it, right?
If we could just authorize to
Okay,
allow them to
I get
be
it.
As an optional
We
provider.
can start there, then
okay. We have a roll call vote on that or no?
just consensus. If you guys are all okay with that.
We're okay with it, right?
Consent agenda?
Is it-
You're gonna put that on a consent agenda?
Yeah, just authorize.
Another option.
If you're okay with it.
Well, it says authorizing, that's why I,
Discuss authorizing.
okay,
It's no, not time sensitive.
okay. Then we have cost savings idea. That would be that, right?
Sales tax, yeah.
Do we have any?
I don't have anything else.
Any unfinished business?
No, but next week I'll put the jail cells on.
Jail cells? Who's going in them?
I've got my dedicated committees.
Maybe we don't want you doing that.
Well, we discussed it in the facilities meeting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Financial matters? Appropriations? $8,305 to pathways? Do we have to authorize that or is that going to consent?
Consent agenda is fine.
Okay. Everybody good with that? Consensus? The board bills, me and Mike went over them and they look fine. Anybody have any questions? Nope. We couldn't answer them anyway, but. Approve financial reports of all funds, trial balance report available. Any questions? Consent agenda, consent,
Yep,
Yeah.
authorize the treasurer, put back revenues received in 2024 for expenses paid in 2023. We consent with that,
yeah. Good.
okay? Resolutions, I don't think there were any. Committee reports, Kalamazoo there, Rick?
That's a long story. I'll write it in the next paper.
Okay.
They changed names to protect the guilty.
You got anything, Mike?
Off of facilities, probably some of the bigger ones were, Brian is working on getting some contractors to come look at our roof. So we can start getting that, what we need to do, when we need to. We also discussed we may be able to pull some money from what was it, Pam?
The
Our
land bank
And-
grant.
Land bank grant to help pay for that.
Rough.
So I couldn't read my own, I had notes, but I couldn't read that part. I was like. We talked about cells over at the jail. About getting the plumbing. We did have, Brian was here, nobody else would rebid it. To be contacted, so that was a question that we all had. Making
Yep.
sure that we were trying to get multiple bids on everything, and he said, no, nobody else would give him another bid. They're also working on bids for the locks, so I reminded them to please make sure we get. Even if even if only one person bids it, let us know who else you tried to get a bid from, that way we comply with our own policies.
Yeah, cause that's a specialty.
Yeah.
Type job, so
Right.
there's not many out there that would be able to bid on it anyway.
Uh, we talked lots about the animal shelter in more than one meeting, so.
And that's March sixth.
March sixth, on a Wednesday,
When
not on a Tuesday.
What
So
time was that?
court's at 1. If I remember correctly, I think the hearing starts at 1. And then, so we've asked our attorney to be here at least an hour prior to meet with us, so we can get some answers from him as to why things are so stagnant and why we're not. You know, what the next steps look like, so.
And then we have to figure out if that's right, cause the time frame of him being here right before that, we have meetings.
No.
No.
that was-
We don't.
We
You figure
No,
that
I
out?
thought it was we thought the 6th was the Tuesday at first, Joel said.
Oh, okay, that's,
Oh.
okay, I scanned.
When I went to talk to him, we figured out there was actually Wednesday, he's like, well,
There is no conflict.
there's no conflict anymore. We don't have our,
That's why you
committee
made
meetings
such a
at
big
noon.
deal out of the Wednesday, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
try not to back the bus up on you.
No.
And then from administrative, we talked about looking into finally getting our policies updated and stuff. One of the first things we'll have to do is authorize the administrative committee to start the policy review, because right now in the current policy, it's the executive committee. So once Dean's back, we'll have to get that, so that we can even begin.
Wait, say that again?
Right now, in the board policy,
Yeah.
to change, amend, add a new policy, it has to start with the executive committee. We now have it under our administrative committee when we redid things. So we have to
Okay.
change the policy
To change.
so we can start changing policy, work on. And then Joel's gonna get a master document out to everybody with some recommendations so that everybody's got lots of time.
I might be able to help with that, we just did the whole thing on
Yeah,
QPAD. Our executive
Not
committee
ex-
couldn't make anything, cause the executive committee from the
yeah,
year
not
before.
expecting, you
We
know,
just did a whole policy change on all of it.
and then under that one, we also had courthouse security, DTEC's looking into upgrades for our camera system inside the building. So looking at what, just replacing what we have, and then they're gonna give us a recommendation on what they think we should have as far as coverage areas and stuff, because I know like the stairwells, there's no cameras in any of the stairwells. Which I was shocked, because I figured our liability insurance people, if nothing else, would want stairwells covered, so. So-
Stairwells are, no,
That's it. All I gotta do is look around, like, you know, it's not like it's a secret.
I know, I
Yeah.
walk into who walks into a building, the first thing they do is look for the security
Yeah.
cameras. Now I wonder, now,
Yeah, I think that's all I had from the ones I was in.
you covered what I was in pretty much.
The first one I tried to, I left finance alone,
Yeah,
we both had to fill in for it.
the only
Whatever
other
your
one
second one
is the opioid committee, which we had a Zoom with Ben Larson. And that was, it's very interesting, I wanna open up the thing, but I don't think I can find it right now. So pretty much, just like QPAD is trying to get us to all do like a 6-county. Ben would like for us to talk about the idea of giving half our opioid money with the other 15 counties to build our own facility here in the UP. Because families are having to send, everybody to Kalamazoo, and it's costing each county so much money. He's out of Houghton, And he says it's $3,000 every time they have to bring somebody down,
Or
and then 30,000 or something. It's-
That's just for getting them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to get them down there and then having them stay. So there's a lot of information all involved in it, and he would just like us to kind of have the conversation if that would be something we'd be interested in. I think he said $6.5 million would be the contribution of everybody giving in half of their opioid money. So we can build from ground up a facility. He kind of said it would be like a crisis, not a full state hospital, but we could get a lot more people involved and a lot more donors, get pathways, everybody involved, Medicaid, and it could become
Involved
to a state
Full
hospital
blown.
up here, which we need to
Nice.
serve our people in our community, and that was a big thing, is that Kalamazoo is in our community. It is in our backyard for the people who have kids that have to go down there or a spouse. So, when that call is made by, is it the senator? Who is, or Alec, the Alec.
there's a few different agencies that are working with, a big one.
Don't really know with me. But when that call is made for us all to come together and talk about it,
Director Hurtado.
we just want to know if that's something we would like to do. So I think all of us working together towards this is way better than us, because this isn't money that's gonna keep coming every single year. We're just gonna get a certain amount, and it may help with small problems in a moment, but in the long run, I think all of us working together would be much beneficial to the whole UP and our sheriff's department and everything else.
If I remember what I read correctly, now of the settlement money, I think it's what 70%, is it like 70% has to be used for basically future abatement type. So, you know, it comes with some stipulations that this would obviously fit into, so.
Would this here facility be for all drug addiction or just for opioid?
It would, in turn, I think that it would become, for mental health, a lot of it that comes from the addiction from opioids and the families that are affected by it. And then with everything else, we could evolve from that. But the money that we're using is to start for that specific reason. And I think there's a lot more that we have to go into detail and,
Mhm.
you know,
That'd be a good
research
thing
and
to
find
bring up
out.
when you do have that meeting is, you know,
Sure.
Did they say where? they-
Alan Jensen. Alan Jensen is the one that would be calling the meeting for all the counties to come together and talk about it.
And where is he at?
I think he's up in Houghton, isn't
that's what,
He's in Houghton.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned anywhere from Nagani all the way down to Schoolcraft, Manistee.
he? Mackinac.
somewhere kind of in the middle, hopefully.
Are they talking about the whole UP?
Yeah.
Or just
All
essentially-
All 15 counties would put in their money, and it sounds like, I think we were one of the last few, maybe the last two that he talked to, and every other county was on board of wanting to do this together.
Yeah, 'cause it totals what?
He also, 6.5
Right,
million,
yeah, 'cause 13 million is the total. So
something like
half and
that,
half.
but I know that, Greg Touton, yeah, cause the governor has an actual, I don't remember what she called it,
Yeah, task force.
a task force on this. And he's the representative up here in the UP that she chose. So, between getting in touch with him and then Alan Jensen's the one, that's gonna most likely make the call to all the county commissioners to come to a meeting and we all have a big conversation about it. There's a lot of names, Janet Kochi. And then Amy Delinky is another one from, words.
Detail,
Nope. Michigan,
acronym soup.
yeah. But she's with, yeah, commissioners, Michigan commissioners. What is the,
Mac?
MAC, there you go.
What's your name?
Amy Delinky. She's with, I believe, isn't she with Mac? Yeah, she's with Mac.
Danielle, so.
Oh, there was, I know
I think there's a
my
few,
LCAP
but she's
meeting,
the
there's like 4 of
one,
them.
she's the one that's with this. So we have a lot of names and a lot of people that are just coming together and I think, it's just something worth us really looking into,
Something worth a solid discussion.
Sure is, yeah.
especially with our county getting, we're getting a lot, but not a lot compared to the other counties. So if we're able to help each other, I think that that would be the best, because we can only do so much for our county.
But if we could expand in the other drug addictions, that would really be nice.
And like I said, they're reaching out to all the other pathways, Medicaid, all the other, they're trying to get a doctor, all that stuff. So it could evolve into having a state hospital here again, so that would be nice. Any questions? Okay.
I think we should pay attention to location. It's a good, it sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, I think, depends on who you talk to, but I think like they said Nagani kept coming out of his mouth, like Nagani might be an idea that somebody had brought up, or even Schoolcraft was kind of a good location, I thought. So I guess it just depends on when we all get together, who's willing to, or has the place for it. So. That would be my update.
You got her under control, eh? Me and Mike were at, a road commission meeting and there's still the squabble with the, snowmobilers going down, was that H-58?
Yeah, that 422 trail.
Yeah.
I had to do some looking after somebody brought it to my attention.
Remember
a
they
while
came
ago.
here and they said they have, money they could build at half the bridge or whatever it
Mm.
was. And they,
Oh,
the DNR,
That was,
oh, yeah,
that was before you were
me,
here.
and they,
I didn't know what was going on at first.
and, they've, actually, the road commission's been, well, 7, 8 years putting up with this.
Yeah.
And they put their foot down. I was glad to hear that. The other thing I was surprised to hear, that Barriga County has no snowmobile or RV trails in the whole county.
Oh.
That's hard to believe, eh?
That's when you asked them, I'm like, and they said, no, none. I was like, wow, how'd that happen?
Yeah,
But no like state trails. There's
none
none. There may be trails, but none of them are,
sanctioned.
there are no sanctioned trails.
was
Just
su- I
going
was
on
surprised.
everybody's back 40.
Right.
Tribe owns the most of Barry County.
That's what the, chairman said, probably the tribal lands. And I,
Yeah, just odd that
surprised,
some,
you know?
if any county up here wouldn't have
Yeah.
at least one trail cutting
Yeah,
through it somewhere.
yeah,
So that's why I was looking at the map when they said it, so they must cut just south, they must just stay just south of it. And loop around.
but they've had time to build that bridge, and I don't blame the road commission at all. Anyway, that's my report. Anybody else got anything?
Just that once Dean should be back next week, we probably should fix the
Couple things.
the backup for the committee meetings. We just kind of punted and Kelly and I were both here, so we just stayed and did the finance meeting, but definitely something we need to, if that's the solution, we should just put it in writing at least that's, instead of having, I'm the alternate for this, you're the alternate for that, it might just be easier that whoever's here and available can, because, like if I'd had a service, I wouldn't have been able to stay, but or somebody's here ahead of their meeting and they can come in early, or,
Do you want an agenda item next week?
yeah, I mean, we just have it straight
Should,
before
yeah.
next month's committee meetings,
Yep,
just in case. This may never happen again, but
And I
it
had to
happened the
say,
very first meeting, so it's like, oh, we should probably fix
I'm
that.
like, I stayed for 3 hours straight. I still got my tacos for lunch.
Yeah, see, I left when you had your opioid ones.
Yeah.
correspondence.
We have a letter from Upset thanking you for the 10,000 annual contribution. Representative Jen Hill has a letter regarding the local control issues for the solar and wind. Give it a read through about some changes to legislation. And there's an MMRMA annual report. That would be it.
Did we get money back from that MMRMA? It's always been a good deal there.
That's where we're talking, Pam, we were talking at one of our meetings that we actually get a lot of grant money and stuff to them too. And we have in the past, and we've gotten a lot of,
Right here, damn it,
Yeah.
never got to that.
which was, so it was- I was like, oh, that's the people that we were just talking about. So,
We always get that quite a bit.
Any questions on correspondence?
sure.
Board comments?
Go ahead, Mike.
Actually, all mine was just mostly about the committees and so far, I think it's gonna work, so.
Like I said, me and you are the closest, so I think that that's just gonna,
And
that's gonna happen a lot. so-
Like I said,
But we need something implemented so
yeah,
that,
and that's when we talked about, that's why I said, well, yeah, I'll take the first one and the fourth one, because I can always leave and go back to work or whatever for an hour or two and then come back to my next meeting, so.
Well, I do have a comment about our representative's letter. I was listening to a special on the radio today, well, 75% of the American taxpayer dollars going to energy covers 5% of this green energy. 25% covers all the other energy. So, and then they have these trucks that are battery operated trucks. They have nowhere that they can, plug them in. There's less than 10% of those trucks have a place they can plug them in. So we're getting the cart ahead of the horse here. It's not. And I have a problem with her, that they're gonna pass this by the end of 2024. That's my comment.
I got one related to that, cause you tickled my brain on something.
Well,
And, you know, all this, changing to the energy and stuff. Well, if they're gonna put these giant solar farms in and stuff downstate, how's it supposed to get to us? Is there a cable that I don't know of on an extension cord under the Mackinac Bridge that I've never seen? Because I'm pretty sure that most of our electricity comes from Wisconsin.
yeah,
And so I feel like, once again, the UP's kind of getting penalized for the big ideas, but not,
I do
is
believe,
there a buried?
if the line 5, if all that works, that tunnel that goes through is actually going to be able to have all of that.
They'll run electrical cable through
It's
it,
gonna have a lot more than just
just the
the,
natural gas.
but then again, you take the majority, they're not going to put these solar panels in the DNR land.
No,
They're not going to put them in the middle of town.
no, they're gonna buy
They're gonna
farms.
go out and put them on farms.
Yeah.
And then who the hell's gonna feed us?
Yeah,
I'm not saying there's not, I'm saying there's issues, and that's even.
They have nothing.
How are we supposed to get the juice?
Yeah, my son works for an electric company, said, if you put in a field of solar panels.
Yeah.
It costs, almost $500,000 a mile to run that to a station. So if you've already defeated yourself.
They've gotta be close to a main line or.
Yeah.
Feasible.
But anyway, I differ with our representative on that. We're not ready for it.
I think we all had a copy of the same form letter in our mailbox.
yeah.
Yeah, was on here. Staff comments?
Spent most of today, the public accuracy test. Went well. Just very time consuming, and then we'll start our early voting hopefully here on Saturday. And,
Early voting for what?
Because we have to by law now have early voting.
in-person early voting in this room. So when we have our meeting on Monday, have a little more to talk about on the weekend went, and it'll be pushed aside, so you kind of see some of the machines, unless I have to pack them up, but I think I can leave them sealed, and then we'll lock the room. But, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'll have more for you next week. That's really all I have going right now.
Was it, is it 7 or 9 days? 9 days. 9 days of early voting in person.
Who's paying that?
State.
State's paying it?
The presidential primary is always a reimbursement by the state, and then there's a grant for August and November, and then going forward, we'll see. Maybe you.
We had a productive weekend this weekend. Big drug bust on Friday in Chatham, and 2 armed standoffs yesterday in Onoda and Kiva. So
Wow.
Whoa,
our sheriff's office did some amazing work this weekend, bringing in 4 additional defendants on very, very solid charges. I'm looking forward to processing these charges, and our state police had a very good interaction with some people out there in Kiva that they were able to defuse the situation and bring somebody into custody on a pretty violent situation. So busy weekend, but we're better for it.
you said Keevan where?
I know that. There. I think people were engaged in Super Bowl festivities a little too hard.
Took a little too
Took a dark
serious.
turn. So,
Oh, boy.
but everybody was safe at the end because of law enforcement intervention.
Good.
Thank you.
I don't have anything more than it's already been discussed.
Stay with me. Everything is good next door.
I do have a question for you though.
Okay.
These new gun laws coming out,
Okay.
what are they?
Are you talking about, how we're registering our firearms now, whether it be a long gun or shotgun, rifle type? I'm probably not the one really, Mick, to talk about, this right now. Sam and, I think somebody from the DNR may have went to a meeting and discussed it. I know little bits about it, but, probably not enough to openly talk about it right now. So I can certainly get you the information, if needed, Mick.
Yeah, well, it comes.
Stop by or something. We can get you that.
Yeah, it becomes law tomorrow. That's what is on there.
13th, yeah, all right. Yeah,
The biggest one is the red flag, right?
yeah.
Yeah, red flag law.
What is that?
It's called a gun violence restraining order. If there's enough evidence to present before a judge can order someone to surrender their firearms. For things like mental instability. This used to be the law of the land in Michigan. I think my predecessor filed 1 or 2 in her career. It's obviously not something that your prosecutor is gonna take lightly. I hope to never engage this law, ever. There's other ways we can go about doing it. There are a couple situations where you're looking at, people who are mentally unstable and made affirmative threats using a firearm. But generally, we can charge those people with something before it gets violent, and we can, take action there to make sure that our community's safe. But, it's an interesting law. I hope I don't have to, that's what that. There's the other ones, though, the registration ones, so I'm not familiar with those yet either.
Okay, anyone else? Brief public comment. Brief public comment. Brief public comment. We're done.